So as you probably know, Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning from Congress. Effectively, MAGA is collapsing. Now, we've got the best community on the internet, and I want to go through some of your comments and thoughts, and let's jump right in. So this is coming from Gary, talking about, again, Marjorie Taylor Greene's resignation. Gary says, the rats are leaving the Trump-tanic. Totally agree with you, Gary, and I've said this all along, if you guys don't follow my channel. Do not tie your career to Trump. Do not get close to Trump. Don't get your name anywhere near Trump, because history will not look good on you. And the people who can see what's going on as his polls are absolutely sinking, right? He's just losing popularity as he's destroying the country. Time to jump ship. So Marjorie's getting out, right? The Trump-tanic is sinking. Another one is from Purity. Purity says, she enriched herself when Trump was manipulating the stock market earlier this year. She got what she wanted out of all of this, and now she's moving on. I'll just say this. I don't think any member of Congress should be involved in trading individual stocks. I wish they would pass something, and this should be bipartisan to where, you wouldn't have these situations whatsoever. There was another situation in Georgia. I think it was Kelly Loeffler at the time she was Senate, also accused of insider trading, and I'll just leave it at that. I don't think any members of Congress, doesn't matter which party, should be trading in individual stocks. So make it really clear on that. So I don't disagree, just saying my thoughts. Here's another one. This is from our buyers. They say, it's like pro wrestling. These are just personas they wear as masks. And that this comment is straight on. And I've told you guys this several times. A lot of these people, be it in politics, TV, same with YouTube, they're basically just actors. And it's all for show, right? They get on camera and they just start screaming and yelling nonstop and blah, 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 right? And it's all nonsense. And I've told you guys before, like, it's been interesting to see Greene make a massive transformation in a short period of time, and now she just talks like a normal person. So it's either, were you lying then or are you lying now about who you really are? And the whole thing for me, it's obvious. It's like that. And anyone who can't see it, I just hate to break it to you. A lot of what you see in today's world, a lot of it's acting. So the person says, just like professional wrestling, totally agree. Another one. This is from Matt. Matt says, under Trump USA has become a big pile of stuff, or crap, you could say. Vote garbage, get garbage. Yeah. And I'm actually really curious, Greene's sort of, I could say, trajectory after this. I told you guys before in the last video, she could go for TV spots. Some people were saying, oh, she's definitely got a spot on Fox News. I think no. I think she's going to try to go for other situations, that be it, MS Now. I'm sure they're hiring. They changed the name. Maybe she'll try to get on The View, which is a popular ABC show, or go CNN or whatever. I wouldn't be shocked if she goes the TV route, to be frank, because one thing I think is interesting, like if she was really sincere about, say, hey, because she writes this whole thing and speech about how she wants the American people, then don't leave your seat. It's like if you really want to help the American people, like stay in Congress and fight for the change that you believe in, opposed to just quitting next year, right? Another person says, from Anthony, the first rat to leave the sinking ship. Yep. Lazier says they should all resign. Lynn says, I would not trust her. V just says, there is more happening behind the scenes we are not going to know about until later. And there's probably truth to this stuff. Usually these kind of things don't happen in a sense to where there's no rumors of this, because I at least, and I've been checking out what she's been doing in her transformation for a while, and I didn't see any rumors of her just like, hey, we're going to quit this week. I just didn't see that. All of a sudden I was like, wait, she's quitting? What? Like, for me, it was a surprise. I'm not surprised that people say leave Trump, but not necessarily didn't expect her to just like, hey, I'm resigning. One thing to mention though, I think she gets her pension fund from Congress after, is it January 5th that she thinks she's leaving, so it'll be 5 years in Congress and she'll get some sort of pension. So the timing does matter, but she does have money, so she doesn't necessarily need the particular pension. But we'll see what else people say here. ABC says, oh no, is she quitting because she's getting threats, or because she's sees the MAGA regime collapsing and wants off the bandwagon before the orange turd hits the fan? As much as I hate the snake, I'm going to miss how she is a thorn in the side of MAGA Mike and Trump. And I agree. I don't care much for Marjorie Taylor Greene. But yeah, it's entertaining to watch them, do the infighting, these kind of things. And Yeah. Now, will she go full and blown and join the Democrats? I kind of don't think so. Would she stay in politics and maybe run independent? Maybe. I personally think like she could go for governor if she wants or something like that. There's obviously debates on whether or not she could do the fundraising, because the basic gist of the Republican Party right now is they're kind of in disarray. Do we try to stay tied to Trump, who's going to be a lame duck come midterms? I mean, he's on his way out, guys. You'll see. I mean, you can see the spiral in the dude. It's obvious every single day. In the past, right, Republicans would basically tie yourself to Trump, do a bunch of fundraising based on that, and get your whole sort of, I guess, campaign and political career tied to that. But if that ship is sinking, like, where does the Republican Party go from now? So I think Greene will actually be a really interesting to watch to see if she stays and goes for another seat as a Republican or independent, which I kind of don't think it's independent. I'm thinking she's going to go TV route, and then after that start. Usually, what they'll do, you'll form a committee and then see your actual chances of a different office. Because it takes a lot of money to run for whatever office. So form a committee or whatever, and you'll start to hear rumors of that stuff. So that's probably what's going on. Wish Miller go to jail. That's from Mary. So referring to Stephen Miller. Here's another one. Carrie says, the light Marjorie saw was money. Okay. Marjorie started out with $700,000 when she was first elected and is now worth $22 million. Now that she has the money, she is free to leave. In the past, Marjorie was a hired mouthpiece for her donors and never enacted effective legislation. We have been taken for a ride. So that's from Carrie. My understanding of Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't know the exact numbers of, say, before she came into Congress, but that she was essentially born, I won't say wealthy family, but we'll just say well off. That's a good way to say it. And oh yeah, I mean, you can use the word wealthy, because I think what it was is I think her dad passed away, and then she inherited some sort of construction business or something like that. I'd have to look at the exact numbers, but she wasn't poor coming in, and she's definitely richer going out. So I'll leave it at that. But yes, I think she's self-serving and a greedy individual, and a lot of it appears to be just for show, the stuff that she was doing in the beginning, just like pro wrestling stuff, right? So Flux says, drove us into a ditch and just walks away. Yeah, you could say that. Because think of it this way. Also, if you did know the stuff that you're doing was wrong and you did have a conscience, you'd be like on the apology tour and then actually working to fix certain things. So I think the whole resignation thing, in my opinion, really sort of damages the narrative that she still cares about the American people, right? So you were elected to serve your constituents, stay in office, finish out your term, and that's that, right? So, what else we got here? This is from Paris. How did she help her constituents when she voted for the big beautiful bill and worked for Doge? That is a very good point. So I do appreciate that, Paris, right? Like when these people like in the Republican Party are just like, oh yeah, I'm working for the American people, etc. And then when you actually read the said stuff, because oftentimes the people in the party fall for Trump's lies, it's like, your health care is going to go up, your food benefits are going to get cut, multiple, things that you need are going to be taken away from you. Right? How's it helping Republicans by, voting for said thing? So again, I mentioned like the whole Marjorie Taylor Greene stuff and the, policy doesn't actually help her constituents. Derek says, rats jumping off the sinking ship. In a real law-abiding world, she would be charged with insider trading, inciting a riot, and various other laws regarding breaking your oath to the Constitution. I would expect her to get no less than 300 years or worse, but in Cuckoo Town, America, she could be the next president. And, for some people who laugh at the sense of her, sound of her running, you never know in USA. You never know. It was a joke before when Trump was building up his campaign. It's like, why is this, TV star effectively or, failed business person running for president? Like, who would take this stuff seriously? And then because the way the U.S. election cycle is and sort of the U.S. culture these days, people dislike shocking statements and, ludicrous, outrageous stuff to create controversy. And if you want to be popular in USA, you just give ridiculous, stupid interviews. Recently, Haley's kid said a bunch of stuff on the Tucker Show. If you want to watch it, you can find it. And, I can make whole videos about this stuff. But it's just people just saying stupid crap, right? You're like, Chris, what's the stupid crap? I want to hear the stupid crap. Oh, it's like, and that's what our news cycle ends up being, right? So the more, racist and more stupid stuff that you say, then everyone starts talking about your name and you get your name out there if that's what you want to do. So, I'll go over it. Trump, he started his whole thing was like, oh, Obama is not American, blah, 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 right? Not born in, was it Hawaii? I think Obama's birth certificate is. And so that, just basically making these ridiculous assertions. He gets famous playing the racist game. And if you don't know, Nikki Haley's a kid. He was basically coming out saying that if you're a naturalized citizen, you shouldn't be in public office, which is frankly ridiculous. Because America, just be frank with you guys, is a nation of immigrants. All sorts of people have come to America. And also to be very, very clear, I just want to make it very clear because you got to mention this stuff, that there's, First Nation, Indigenous people, and Native Americans that are in U.S. as well. And, just USA is made up of all this different types of people and suggests that, and you guys don't know, I was born in Vietnam. I grew up in USA. And to say someone like me couldn't run for public office is ludicrous. So that's my opinion on that stuff. And Nikki Haley's kid said a bunch of stuff similar to that, basically nativist, anti-foreigner talk. So I mentioned it, and then, if you want to make whole videos about that stuff, what idiot college student says, you can. That's how dumb, U.S. politics is these days. Okay, so Mr. Gasman says, this is what happens when two people affected with narcissist disorder have a go at each other. Yes, that's sort of what we're dealing with. Martin says, even fools and horrible people are fed up with the storm that is coming down on America. She tried to put some distance between Orange One and the wrath of the voters. Yes, so recent polling data, I keep seeing it. Trump is sinking in the polls. There is still people behind him. I think he's at 38%, which is really high. I mean, considering like how ridiculous the stuff in his policies are. But then, if you look at like the other way of thinking about it is like, okay, if 38% is for him, then that mean 62% are against him, right? So, and it's only probably going to get worse because then say when midterms come and the Democrats, right, the opposition party will start running ads nonstop, pointing out all the ridiculous stuff that Trump is doing to, basically just hurt regular people. It'll probably get worse. And then also the economy is going to take a dive as well as we look at the numbers all the time. So I agree. I think, Marjorie can see the writing on the wall, and I'm sure other Republicans can as well. I'm sure they say it behind closed doors. A lot of these people, the Republicans, they're not dumb, but their constituents are. And so they speak dumb in public, but then behind the scenes, they can see what's going on. It's kind of like, for example, we'll just say Trump will say something ludicrous. Like we'll say the recent thing was the whole, punishable by death thing. If you guys know this. And behind closed doors, like a lot of Republicans aren't going to be like, oh yeah, I totally, totally going to agree with that. And I'd say that like they're not. Right. But then in public, they'll just say stuff like, well, that wouldn't be the words that I would use, or it's not a big deal. Right. But I'm sure to say it, like they know that their voters, or whoever with Trump, still love Trump. So they don't come out and like publicly say it. I'll give a more basic example. Trump during the election, this is how dumb American politics is, would like insult other candidates' wives. For real. Like this stupid crap like that. And, from a, general just human perspective, like, don't insult my wife. That's ridiculous, right? And so if a dude doesn't, stand up for his wife, it makes you look weak. And then you just get stupid discussions in USA. So it's not so hard to talk about American politics because this is dumb. I don't know what to say. It is what it is. So, okay, what else we got here? It is. And let's be honest with you guys, it's dumb. Okay, remember Greene is on the individuals that engage in insider trading. Don't quote me on the amount, but it was said that she made, this person saying 50 million, she's not hurting. I don't know the exact amount either. It's something like that though. She's not fooling anyone. That's from the Coza. Another person says, best move she can make for herself at this point. She can't openly defy Trump, and she also can't vote with Trump, so it's best to just quit. Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, why can't you just openly defy Trump? Now, you could make the case that if she is indeed getting threats and she's worried about her and her family, that's certainly a situation. But that would also show you like how bad the environment is in USA. And this is just the reality. If it's just because, I don't know the whole situation. She claims she's gotten threats. Could be true. But this is this reality situation. People have guns in USA, right? And so if you're in a district and Margie's like the kind of person before that would just promote guns nonstop, which is seriously, you can watch all of the campaign videos or whatever. And for who knows, maybe she'll go on vacation and go to live in another state or whatever. So yeah, she's just getting out. Person says here, a snake can shed its skin, but it's always going to be a snake. Okay. Hizzle says, go on and take the money and run. MTG says, another person says, MTG, lithium is a hell of a drug. Another one from Joanne. She is the one who said if she did the insurrection, she would have done it right now. Don't come back. And JJ says, obviously, MTG's tinfoil hat has been too often zapped by the space lasers. So, I hopefully think, I'll just say this, I hope that come midterms that we can get, more sensible discussion and such in USA, and we'll see. You also see that things can change, right? Again, I don't like Marjorie. I disagree with much of what she says, but she at least started talking like a normal person, which again, either you're lying before, you're lying now, or you're fake before, or you're fake now. You guys be the judge of what that is. But I think in terms of the political move, yes, distance yourself from Trump 100%. So she's smart enough to do that. And we'll see if other Republicans are as well. So that's my thoughts on this. I'd like to hear yours. And I'll catch you all in the next video.